Welcome to the Getting Started with Bunker Labs panel. We will begin shortly. Amy Bernard serves as a Senior Program Manager for Veteran Economic Opportunity as part of the Military Service Initiative at the George W. Bush Institute. She manages strategic efforts that are crucial to the economic success of post-9/11 veterans. Major Amy Bernard retired from the United States Marine Corps in the spring of 2019. She deployed in 2005 and 2007, and most recently in 2017. She was selected to represent the United States Marine Corps as the first female officer to attend Command and Staff College in New Zealand. Doug Bauer is a 6-year veteran of the United States Marine Corps Infantry and has completed multiple combat deployments including to Fallujah, Iraq, throughout Operations Iraqi Freedom. He is the owner, operator, and founder of Serac Technology, a managed IT service provider in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Serac Technology focuses their efforts on providing support for general IT operations, cybersecurity consulting, and government contracting. Please welcome Amy Bernard and Doug Bauer.
Hey, Doug. Good to see you.
Hi, Amy. Good to see you too. How are you?
Good. All right. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay. Doug, just to make sure, I want to make sure you can still hear me and can you see the screen?
I can hear you loud and clear, and I do see the presentation.
Okay. I can barely hear you, actually.
I might have to hold it. Is that any better?
A little bit.
Okay. Let me see. I'll check my mic settings, and you can go ahead now.
All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for letting us come and speak with you today. Thank you for the kind introductions. As she said, I work with the George W. Bush Institute. I'm a senior program manager for Veteran Economic Opportunity. And on the side, I volunteer for Bunker Labs, who I'm here to represent today. Doug and I have both not only been part of the Bunker Labs program, but are now helping. I'm working as an ecosystem ambassador, which means that I help connect those in the program to those out in the community. And Doug has been one of our Veteran in Residence program scholars or in the cohort there, and he is now volunteering and helping with the next cohort that came behind him. So hopefully we'll bring you a wealth of information today. We're going to give you an overview of who Bunker Labs is, and just noticed in the panel before us that we had a couple of Bunker Labs alumni also representing there. So I'm sure you've already heard a little bit about us today. But just to start, I want to go through again what Bunker Labs is. So as of since 9/11, there has been 3.8 million Americans who have served in the military. 25% of them want to start a business. Unfortunately, only about 5% actually succeed. So this means that there's nearly 1 million veteran spouses and family members that are unable to, take the leap and actually make it into entrepreneurship or small business ownership, and mainly because it's just really hard to find that network. It's hard to find the connections, and it's tough to find the support. So at Bunker Labs, what we do is we work to simplify that journey. We connect you to other people in the community, and we sort of separate the veteran community out as entrepreneurs that help one another. And so we build the network from the inside out, if you will. And then we connect you to the ecosystem, so those outside of our network, to then help connect you to those who really will help your business grow and give you the resources and help connect you to those who can help you the best. So we simplify this journey. We sort of build that bridge. And then you can imagine that, the space that we're leading to is where instead of only 5% of the veteran community making it, but all of the veteran community having an opportunity to build their own business. Excuse me. For the members of the military connected community, it can be really lonely trying to, start your own business if you don't know anyone else who's done it, or if you've never done it before, which most of us have not. And so, it really requires this wealth of information and networking and opportunities and resources that you may not even actually realize that you need. And so that's, again, what this community is about, is giving you the tools with those who are already familiar with them. So painting this picture again for you, there's a huge lost opportunity out there. The gap is absolutely significant. Since 2001, an estimated 1.4 million companies could have been started, and 1.8 million jobs could have been created by veterans who wanted to start businesses, but were unable to, and simply couldn't overcome the lack of the network or resources. So that's why we're here. We are proud members of this community. We are veterans and we are entrepreneurs. And so just a little bit about what this network has done over the past few years. We're making an impact that's already attracted partners like JP Morgan Chase, Google for Startups, the Schultz Family Foundation, and so many more, as you can see down below on this slide. We've helped generate more than 135 million and create more than 800 jobs. And that's just the beginning, guys. We're going full steam ahead right now. And that might sound impressive, but I think there's a lot more to come. And it's a really dynamic group of people. And how do we do this? We do it through 3 easy steps. We connect you to the community. We equip you for success, and then we celebrate the success by inspiring others to follow in your footsteps. So let's talk about how we connect. We do this through several of our different events. We do it with our events, with our programs, and a digital presence. Our Bunker Connect program uses facilitated networking to get members connected to one another, as well as we bring in people from outside your community, but those in kind of the city that you're at. And we try to bring in key people for you to meet as well in the city who can connect with you. Bunker Brews is an event where we bring in speakers and we do sort of a series of information, again, for connecting you with the community, those key people in leadership and thought leaders in the entrepreneur space, helping you to work smarter and connecting you with one another to see how you can also support one another in that effort. And then we have our online presence, which is the bunkeronline.org, which is an even bigger networking opportunity. That's where you can go and interact with all of the people in Bunker Labs across the United States, all the other, aspiring entrepreneurs or those who already have businesses, and you can ask basic questions and exchange information. Okay, number 2, then we equip you. Our community is connected. They are better able to see how we can move through along the journey. It's interesting. The Bunker Labs community is made up of, again, those who are maybe in the idea phase, aspiring to be entrepreneurs, those who have started a business and are profitable, and then we have those who are in the very profitable end of the business and are doing really well. So it's very exciting to connect all of those people together in industries that just would blow your mind, of all the different diverse industries that people are working in, and then being able to figure out how we can help each other out with the knowledge that we've built. So for early stage entrepreneurs, we have our Launch Lab Online program, which Doug is going to go into a lot more detail about, so I won't go too much into that. Existing companies, they want to grow their business, and so they can apply for our Veterans in Residence program. And then we have, which is where for the Veteran in Residence, it's a facilitated program with peer accountability. So essentially, it's a cohort of peers coming together to keep each other accountable on the steps that they're taking to grow their businesses. It's a really interesting place because they not only support one another, but they really become friends and build a solid foundation of checking in on each other and making sure each other is okay. So the Veterans and Residents Program is really powerful. The founders of later stage companies turn to our CEO circle for facilitated, again, peer accountability and to help drive professional leadership growth. So those are for those who have made a certain amount of money of profit in their company. They can apply to become part of the CEO circle. And that's sort of, again, a special place for those who are at a certain level of business to be able to interact and network with one another. Our workshop series, these are national series that we put on so that anyone within Bunker Labs can take advantage of these programs. They're focused on support and development for members of the Black and other underserved communities. Again, great workshop series to be a part of, and they're always available for you to watch, and a lot of them are even recorded where you can go back and view them later. And then finally, we have our Founders Table, which is a series that uses intimate roundtable format to pair well-qualified founders with established companies who might be able to help them. So again, this is where we go out into our local communities and we try to find those established companies to connect you with who can help you continue to grow and inspire your company as well. And then again, talking about inspiration, our community members just really inspire one another, watching each other grow. Some of the people in these pictures, I can tell you, I know firsthand, and it's been amazing watching their companies take off and them go through the challenges that they've been through and building the companies to what they are today. But we celebrate the success of each other by telling our stories. We do it through our documentary video series and through narratives. So those are always there for you to watch and be inspired as well. Other organizations also recognize their achievements with awards, grants, and giant checks. And Bunker Labs folks are involved in all sorts of ways. Once you kind of get into the community, you'll find out about all these different types of grants that are available and ways that you can apply for them and ways that you can get into the larger entrepreneur family. And Doug, I will turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about our Launch Lab online program.
Okay. Can you hear me better now, Amy?
I can, yes.
Good. I boosted my settings up here a little bit.
Perfect.
Okay, so Bunker Online, as Amy kind of touched on, it's very similar to like a Facebook or other social media platform, but it is private to the Bunker community. It's designed for veterans and military-connected spouses of those veterans to kind of collaborate, talk about entrepreneurial ideas, share resources. There really is a huge wealth of information. I believe that the membership on the site now is in the thousands, if not tens of thousands. So it really has grown very rapidly because they just started this a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Amy. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So it's definitely a great place to be. I've gained business from being on Bunker Online. I've made friends. I've gotten support of all manners. So you can't really overstate how valuable that community is. You can go to the next slide, please. So the main thing I'm here to talk about is Launch Lab Online. So Launch Lab Online is a piece of courseware that's available excuse me, in the Bunker Online social media platform. It's comprised of, I believe, 4 missions or lessons, if you will. There's videos, resources, worksheets. It talks about a lot of different things. The main objective is to take your idea and kind of vet it, make sure that it's appropriate and feasible. One thing I thought was also unique is it focuses a lot on you as a person and your life. So, it's not just business centric. It kind of brings in the whole gamut, which as an entrepreneur is a very important thing because it becomes very complicated, as you can imagine. Next slide, please. So this is the main landing page, kind of similar to your Facebook feed. As you can see, it's very similar to the layout of Facebook. You people post things to walls. There's a news blotter. There's stories and blog posts that people write up there. So very easy to use. There's no learning curve there. You just kind of hit the ground running. And if you do have any questions, people are in this community are very eager to help you in any way they can. Next slide.
We're giving you guys the inside view as well. As you can see, this is my own personal profile.
Yes. So this is just another page, the Inspire page. I look at this every once in a while. I think this is where you see a lot of those blog posts or news articles, inspiring things. You can see here they did something for Women's History Month. So those are the types of things that will be showcased on this page, and often a lot of very interesting stuff to look at and read. Next, please. Okay, so in the equip section, this is more about the tools and resources that Bunker Labs provides to you to accomplish your goals. And this screenshot that Amy provided us here, this is specifically the LaunchLab online course. So I actually I printed out what is contained in each mission, just to give you a little deeper understanding. So in the introduction, this is kind of just like an entrepreneurship 101. Let's talk about what it means to own and operate your own business. One thing that I thought was very interesting, and I got a lot out of in this particular module, there's a lesson called the military advantage and disadvantage. And I found it interesting to see some of the qualities the military instills in you. While they're incredibly valuable, sometimes it can also serve to your detriment, and you do need to be kind of aware of these things. And it opened my eyes to looking at it in a different light that I never really thought of before. So then that's in the introduction. Then you step into mission 1. So this is really about doing what's called a business model canvas. A canvas it's a tool that helps you understand a business model or structure in like a clear and concise way. There's some kind of almost like a drawing activity. Everything's in a box and very, very regimented. It also kind of goes through what I mentioned before into your personal life. They actually call it a me canvas. So some of these exercises here. What does success look like to you? Your inner circle. It talks about decision makers in your life, people that are important to you. There's a page on money. Your debts, your expenses. What do your commitments look like financially? There's a page on time. There's a page on your interests and passions. Your big idea, and then your business's idea. So it really is kind of an all-inclusive thing, and it's something you continually come back to throughout these other missions. And I would recommend to really be intentional when you do this. Take your time, really think about these questions, because some of them are pretty deep. Mission 2 is know your customer. So this is kind of stepping more into the business realm of things, analyzing your product or service. What is it? What problem does it solve? Is there anybody that wants to pay for this? Critical questions, really. Things you need to spend some time on. And it really does a good job walking you through step by step, kind of holding your hand in each area of that discussion. Then we go on to mission 3. This is about knowing your customer. Talks more about what problem you're solving, kind of developing that, what we call the avatar of your customer. Who is the ideal person or entity that's going to pay you for this product or service? If you don't know the answers to these questions or haven't thought about them, the chances of you being successful are pretty slim. Then we move on to mission 3. That is the product and market fit. More about your service or your product. Talks about what's referred to as unique value proposition. So this is, kind of what makes you different than other companies. Me running an IT services firm, there's 100 of me in Dallas. So why are you going to pay me to handle whatever project you have as opposed to all these other companies? And I need to be able to have an answer to that question ready to go. Project specific, mission specific. So this module kind of focuses on those types of things, validating all those things. And then the last mission 4, is all about money and finances, pricing, market research, understanding the costs of a business, hard costs, soft costs, unforeseen things. Talks a bit about revenues, how to manage capital and, operating, having a pot of money for operating expenses and so on, your break-even point. These are all numbers that, from a personal standpoint, sometimes I find this annoying to think about and spend time on because it's not executing on my profession. But if you don't think about it, don't pay attention to it, you're not going to have a business to use to execute your profession with. So it's critically important. And then the last mission is just kind of like, it's an in closing, final takeaways, kind of reviews some of the complex topics that you discussed throughout the program. It was about a year ago that I went through this, and in all honesty, it definitely opened my eyes to a good many things that I wasn't thinking about before, and it definitely helped me in a few areas kind of sidestep issues that I would have ran into head first if it wasn't for kind of taking this slow and intentional look at my idea and questioning everything. You got to leave your ego at the doorstep and your pride. This is about being vulnerable to yourself, to the people that help you do this, and really get to the bottom line of things. Next slide, please. So this is the Connect page. There's a few different areas of this, but what Amy's pictured is definitely the critical part. All the groups. There's hundreds of groups now. There's a group for IT people I'm in. You name it, someone's created a group. Tax and accounting. If you had a question about, do you want to file as an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, join that group and drop that question, and you will get fellow veterans responding to you with advice. And then you're also free to create your own groups. So if there's some idea or some new industry that you're involved in and you'd like to start a discussion on it, you can make your own group and people will join up and then you're in charge of it. Next slide. Okay, so be a part of this. I can really only speak from personal experience, but I can say, in all honesty, Bunker Labs has been the catalyst that has pushed my business forward. I think that I was in a little bit of a rut. I had this idea. I had these skills. I didn't quite know how to just wrangle it all and push on in the civilian world. I think that was a big part of it for me is, serving in the Marine Corps infantry, your life is pretty regimented, down to the minute. And then they set you free into this big open world and nobody's telling you what to do anymore. You have to tell yourself what to do. And it's quite an adjustment. And, to be part of a team of other like-minded people trying to accomplish something, having that kind of firm but fair veteran feedback, that honest feedback. Sometimes you need to be told straight where you're screwing up. And most people in this group are not afraid to do so, which I view as a huge value add. So I can't, if you have any desire to start your own business, I would encourage you to join Bunker Online, do LLO. It's completely free. You have nothing to lose. And I would suspect that if you put in the time, you will definitely get something very valuable out of it. Is that all the slides, Amy? Yeah, I thought so.
It is. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so that we can talk a little bit about it. I think it's, I was sort of laughing to myself as you were talking, Doug, just thinking about the fact that here we are, two Marines, within a couple of years of being a part of Bunker Labs, and we're telling other people about, starting a business. I will be honest, 2 years ago when I retired, and interesting, I got a reminder today about the fact that my going away party was 2 years ago today from the Marine Corps. So it's a bittersweet time, right? Knowing that was, I do miss it, but this has been a whole new world for me as well. And I knew nothing about entrepreneurship, didn't really understand that I had the tools to be a business owner. And it wasn't until being a part of Bunker Labs and going through Launch Lab Online myself and really looking intricately at what it takes to do it, but also then having the support community that helped me realize I can do it. And I know you've probably had similar experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've now been, I forget in the intro, but I've actually been involved in 2 cohorts now of the Veterans and Residence programs. That's going to be a full year in June. And, I have made huge strides. I went from, just kind of some hired gun IT guy that had a client or two to now having a real business entity and insurance and a predictable revenue stream and bank accounts and, all sorts of like professional things that I don't know if I would have gotten there without this group. I was kind of playing things a little fast and loose there when I was on my own.
I see a question in the chat about sharing some success stories that have come from Bunker Labs. I don't want to share too many other people's stories, but we have our friend Anthony that I think would actually be thrilled if we share his story. And Anthony is a Marine Corps veteran as well. Didn't do that on purpose, I swear. But he's Anthony has started his a business that is hopefully going to rival that of an Airbnb business, and he's doing it for the military community. And so he's looking at, so he's starting a business where the military community and DoD will actually refund you to stay at one of his rentals when there's no opportunity to stay on base when you're moving or executing a PCS move. And so he has just, watching him kind of come out of this stage of like, this is what I want to do and put together this great idea, to now he's in, he's gone through a huge crowdfunding initiative campaign where he's done really well, and now his business is moving forward. It's thriving. He's getting more partners. He's getting a lot of business. He's got some contracts in place, and I think the military community is going to start hearing about him even more. And I will try to share his info here in a minute. I'm pulling him up right now. Any other success stories you want to talk about, Doug?
I mean, personal stories come to mind right off the top of my head. I have gained new business, new clients, both as a one-off project-based work and as recurring long-term strategic relationships through people I've met in Bunker Labs. I mean, literally this week I submitted a fairly substantial proposal to a surgical office that was destroyed in the Texas snow apocalypse that we had a couple months ago. And it's a lot of work. It's a very attractive, number. So, and I never would have known about this if it wasn't for one of my fellow cohort members who was connected to this gentleman and said, "Hey, call this guy." So it just never stops. And the longer you're involved in this program, I just feel like the more opportunities will come your way.
Yeah, for sure. I just put Anthony's information in the chat. It's Anthony Gant, and it's called Addie Rentals. And again, I'm not trying to promote a business necessarily here, except he has an amazing success story. Look him up on LinkedIn and follow his journey, and you'll see that, and you'll see what he's been through and the challenges he's been through. And he's a direct protege, if you will, of the Bunker Labs program. So yeah, definitely some great success stories. Any other questions? Here we go. One of the themes that I'm hearing is the difficulty going from a team life to life as a solo entrepreneur. How would you encourage veterans starting out and feeling this way? And what resources would you encourage them to reach out to? You want to take that one, Doug?
Sure. Okay. I mean, just, to be totally honest, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I struggled quite a bit, for a few years. And I think I avoided dealing with a lot of things. So I think first and foremost, I would say, fix yourself. Almost forget about the entrepreneurial pursuit, because being an entrepreneur is 10 times harder than being someone's employee. And if your house is not in order, and by that I mean like your personal life, you are not going to be successful. And that's what I learned. So, first, take that, for what it is. And then I guess further to that would be a community like Bunker Labs. Connecting again with veterans is one of the main things that always makes me feel better. When I meet up with my Marine Corps buddies from Fallujah from years ago, it's like we sometimes we haven't seen each other in a matter of years, and it's like we didn't miss not 5 minutes. And you can find that, I've found, in almost any group of veterans. We all have a shared experience, and while it is dynamic, there's also a lot of similarity between what we've all been through. So we kind of have immediate connection. And Bunker Labs is one of those places that you can find it right away.
I'm going to second that. I think the big thing is when you get out into the world of resources that exist in the veteran service organization community. I'm going to throw this number out to everybody just in case you haven't heard it, but there's roughly 46,000 veteran service organizations. And a big number too, not nearly the big numbers of employment and things like that, but a large number of entrepreneur organizations as well for veterans. All of them are great, and they all have different ways of presenting to you different phases and stages of where you're at in your business. Go out and do your research and look at the different ones that are out there, and then kind of look at where are you at right now in the thinking about being a business owner. Are you at the starting phase? If you are at the beginning, then you need to probably go through a program like this, the LaunchLab Online program. And then there's other programs out there that might be better for sort of the midterm, once you get past sort of this, you've got all the administrative part of your business set up, but then what's next? And there might be another resource out there that's able to give you that next part. And then you get to keep being a part of the Bunker Labs community throughout all of that. And that's what's great. But don't get overwhelmed. Go out, do your research, and apply for the ones that you feel that are strategically positioned to help you in the next step of where you're at in the business. Okay, next question. What is the one thing you know now that you wish you would have known starting out? All right, Doug.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot. I could go on for days. I think the thing that sticks out in my mind the strongest right now is to just start. And this may seem contradictory to some of the things we've been talking about with this very regimented and well thought out way of doing things. But, for years, I didn't really do anything. And I wish I would have known then it doesn't need to be perfect. Start imperfectly. Start with what you have. Start immediately. And always keep that eye on continuous improvement. It's very similar to what we did in the military. When you got a mission from your superior, you didn't go and think about it for 3 months. You started. And you'd often make mistakes, and then you correct those mistakes and you keep pressing on. It's the same difference. Just get moving.
Absolutely. I agree as well. Are there resources for civilians to find veteran-owned companies in order to help support them? I would say I'll probably jump on this one. The truth is it can be actually sort of tough to find this. It depends on the city you're in. It's possible that the city may have a list of veteran-owned businesses. You, in theory, should be able to, if a business has gotten their certification as a veteran-owned business, then you could look them up through that, but not all do. More popular now, we're seeing more veteran chamber of commerce groups stand up around the country. And so you might look at whatever city you're in and say, Veterans Chamber of Commerce and see if they exist. And obviously a lot of times those are veteran business owners as well. And then also your Bunker Labs community may be able to connect you to some too.
I just saw Leslie put in the chat blotter here. One of our cohort members has an app called Roog, R-O-O-G, and that it's not specifically for veterans, but it highlights minority-owned businesses, disadvantaged people businesses, and veteran businesses is one of the types of businesses it highlights.
Okay, moving back up, there's what is the best way to validate an idea for potential DoD funding? All right, guys, I'm going to tell you right now that this is not my level. That's not my area of expertise. And we're sort of here talking about the idea phase. Doug, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you have something to say on that, great. But otherwise, we might need to, there's some folks in the Bunker Labs community that can absolutely help you out with that. But I'm probably not the one to answer that question.
I'm no expert, but I would say don't make any assumptions. Talk to professionals. Reach out to the PTAC, which is an organization run by the SBA. They help people become veteran certified businesses, find funding, bid on contract work. They could definitely at least point you in the right direction. And again, 100% free.
That's a great idea. Actually, your local VBOC too, your Veteran Business Operations Center here in the Dallas area. That's over at University of Arlington and University of Texas Arlington. Excuse me. So check it out as well. And they have people there. They have mentors they can set you up with, and people who can absolutely help you answer those questions. So thank you. That's a great answer, Doug. How do you find potential co-founders?
Well, I don't trust anyone, so my answer is I don't.
This is a tough question, and something. So my personal journey is this is something I've been looking for in a particular possible business, idea that I've had, and it's tough. It's really, and it depends on how specific your industry is that you're looking for as well. People will tell you not to go into business with friends and family, but yet there's a lot of people who go into business with friends and family and find absolute success there. But, as you can imagine, there's a lot of trip hazards in that if you go that direction, and, potential for relationships to be damaged if things don't go well. And so the biggest thing I can tell you, again, I would go back to sort of your Chamber of Commerce. Get to know your community. You have to network. Whatever industry that you're trying to start your business in, you need to get to know as many people in that industry as possible, because the more people you talk to about what it is you're wanting to do, the more chances are you will come up, you'll meet someone who might be interested in being that co-founder with you. Doug, any other thoughts on that?
One thing that popped in my head, I have previous experience with a co-founder. Not overly positive. What I walked away from that feeling was it's an incredibly intimate relationship. It's it's almost like a marriage, obviously not in a romantic way, but it's intimate on that level. It is a visceral relationship to have with another person, and things can get real messy.
Yeah, trust is a huge aspect of it, right? Trust, openness, open communication, honesty, and making sure that you really, really, put it in writing, put it in black and white, go get the lawyers, do it the right way from the beginning, get it all outlined in the legal paperwork that you need, your company agreement, your business entity paperwork set up and established the right way. I read all the things about an LLC, but it wasn't until I talked to the lawyer and he was like, well, did you think about this? And did you think about that? And no, I didn't think about it because I didn't know to think about it. And so, lawyers are expensive, but they're expensive and worth it for a reason, because they really do have a lot of great information for you, especially, again, when you're thinking about going into a partnership with someone, co-founder, that sort of thing. Okay, another question. What is the biggest takeaway that you have had with your Bunker Labs experience? You want to start?
Sure. There's a lot of very positive takeaways, but I think the number one is don't go it alone. There are communities out there to help you. There are people to help you. Don't be the lone wolf. That is one of my character traits, to kind of, be overly prideful and want to do everything on my own and not ask for help. It doesn't work that way. You need to lean on people in every aspect of your life, and don't be afraid to do so.
That's a huge one, and I struggle with that as well, I would say. My biggest takeaway, I think, has been just the network. It's been understanding that there's a lot of other people out there trying to do similar things to what I'm doing, and having people that you can go to, even if it's just going on, the Bunker Online and asking questions. When I was developing things, I never thought about how to, make a logo or how to, brand my business. And sure enough, there was already, a whole string of messages about that within Bunker Online. Went in and, kind of Googled what's everybody else doing, or not Googled, searched it in the box for the messages, and, pulled up a whole list of people and found a great place that I then built, my logo and my brand around. And so it's just having, again, that community to run things by, because you're going to get a lot of people out in there in whatever industry you're going into. You're going to get a lot of people with a lot of advice. But if you take that advice back to this network of people who have maybe moved past the point that you're at, and you can ask them, hey, does this sound right to you? You'll get a good response from that. Okay, I don't see any new questions.
Yeah, I think we did address them all, I'm fairly certain.
Okay, well, let's see. We could have parting words. Doug, let's see. Having done one BIR cohort and now sitting in with another one, what would you tell people about going into, let's say that their business is already, slightly started, and they're looking at this and they're looking at Launch Lab Online and then maybe the Veteran and Residence Program. What would you tell them has been the greatest part of that for you, and why should they look at that as an opportunity?
My advice would definitely be not to hesitate. I think it's a great opportunity. It's helped me in every aspect of my business. I've learned a lot. I've met great people. I've created relationships that will be long lasting. Even if I end up years down the road not being involved with Bunker at all, that I'm sure will still last. I can't recommend it enough. And the fact that it's free, not that money is everything, but it is important when you're starting out. There's so many things out there that promise the same thing, but it costs money, or they want a stake in your pursuit. Why do that when you can get something that's similar, if not better, and also a military-only community? I see that as a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll leave you with, if you guys are part of the Dallas-Fort Worth community, which I know we're giving this to the UTD community, we're hoping to get back to having events in person. Our first event is planned for June 17th, and that event is going to go live on the bunkerlabs.org website here, hopefully in the next week. So keep an eye out for it at the Dallas Fort Worth chapter. And it's going to be at Texas Ale Project on July 17th at 6:30 p.m. So we're super excited to be back in person and to be able to maybe see some of your faces that we can't see today who might be watching us. Doug and I will both be there. And I hope if you saw us today that you'll come and say hello and continue to ask questions and get you connected to the community.
Oh, and I don't know who's organizing this, but feel free to distribute my email address to any of the attendees. And happy to discuss anything that we talked about, Bunker Labs or otherwise. Don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yes, same here.